Calgary's water supply remains at risk, and there's still no timeline as to when repairs to a major water main will be complete. In an effort to communicate better with residents, city officials held 2 briefings today.
We don't stick to using less water. The reality is that we may run out of water. You could end up turning on a tap and nothing will come out. That is the reality. It's not a scene out of a movie anymore. And I don't say this to scare people, but I think it is incredibly important for us to understand how serious the situation is right now. I'm also, at the same time, very confident that all of you will continue your efforts to conserve water and use less by doing the things that you've been doing.
A critical water main that services 60% of Calgary's water supply experienced a catastrophic break last Wednesday. Officials have said a minimum of 5 to 7 more days would be required to complete the repairs. Stage 4 water restrictions and a mandatory outdoor watering ban remain in effect for now. My next guest spent the past few days speaking with business owners in her area to learn how they have been affected. Jacqui Esler is the executive director of Mainstreet Bowness Business Improvement Area, and she joins us tonight from Calgary. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
What are business owners telling you about how these past few days have been really affecting them?
Well, it's actually been quite crazy and quite slow at the same time. There has been a major flurry in the community because there are people answering the calls for water. Neighbors are coming together and helping each other, but the businesses are very slow. Our parking lots are 50 to 75% empty, and businesses are down at least that as well.
How are they dealing with the restrictions that were put in place, and how are they making up for that lost income?
Well, I mean, they're doing the best they can for sure. They've had to do some changes and some limitations in some of what they offer. So they've actually stockpiled ice. They have to boil water before they can wash vegetables. So they boil the water, cool the water, wash the vegetables, then cook the vegetables. So if your food comes out a little slower, this is why, because it's taking more time to do what they have to do to make it right for Alberta Health Services regulations.
Yeah, and so just to underline that point, unlike the rest of Calgary, who need to use less water, Bowness is under a boil water advisory, which is complicating things a lot for businesses, correct?
It is, because it's challenging us to have to deal with doing things in a different way. I mean, imagine you cooking at home and you don't have the same tools and the same water and the same supplies to work with. It's the same with them. They've had to regroup and figure it out. And actually some of the businesses did close the first day afterwards because they weren't sure what to do. So they had to close to regroup to figure out what they were doing.
Just 3 months ago, I understand, roughly 40 businesses were impacted from a different water main break in Bowness. So how are people feeling about this happening so soon again after?
Well, they're not really happy about it because businesses can't keep closing 2, 3, 4 days in a row every 3 months. It's a bigger conversation for sure that I know that City Council is going to have to be talking about. But it is unnerving because I really hope that this is the end, and I hope that because this is a big one that it will get fixed. But I don't know. I have hope, but I really I don't know what's coming down the pipe, so to speak. I don't know what's next.
Yeah, there's a pun. Okay, I'm wondering, Jacqui, what you would like the city to do to help some of these businesses out with, the challenges that they're facing right now. Would you like to see any kind of compensation for them in the immediate to get through this?
Compensation would be great. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, though. Any sort of rebate on taxes would be awesome, whether it's business tax or any other NMAX bill that they have. I don't see that happening, but it would be great if they actually, there's a lot of businesses that are affected by this. I was listening earlier, and there's a sod gentleman who's putting in sod in everyone's lawns, and now they can't water them. So he's asking for a rebate. It's a difficult situation, and I don't know. There's going to be some big talks after this thing is fully sort of finished up and dealt with.
Yeah.
going to happen next for businesses. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's still the risk of water running out. That's still a threat. What would happen to businesses in Bowness if a situation like that were to occur?
Well, they couldn't operate then. And I think what I want to tell Calgarians is that this is more of a bigger situation than I think they realize. And if they just came down to Bowness, which you can access very easily, they would see the flurry and the frenzy that's happening. There's been water being dropped off. There's water being picked up by anyone and anybody who needs it. We had a huge donation on the weekend. We've had our councillor, Sonia Sharp, she's been calling out and getting help. Our mayor came down and walked through our community and our businesses on the weekend. I mean, we're asking and people are coming, but it's only Monday. I'm concerned that by Thursday, when all the hype is kind of over, that people are still helping us, because who knows what's going to happen. If Thursday rolls around and we still have another week of this, I don't know what's going to happen, but I really am hopeful, and I hope that they're on cue to finish up at a certain time that they've said they will be.
Yeah, everybody is watching those briefings. It's all touch and go right now, hoping that this work gets done sooner rather than later. Jacqui, we'll keep in touch with you to figure out the situation in Bowness as it progresses and hopefully it gets better. That is Jacqui Esler, the Executive Director of the Mainstreet Bowness Business Improvement Area, joining us from Calgary tonight.